This is CBC Here and Now.
I believe that he never wanted this to happen, but I don't accept his apology.
She's paralyzed and in a wheelchair. He's sentenced to 2 years in prison. Tonight, Morgan Party speaks out about her ex-boyfriend's sentence. Good evening and welcome to Here and Now. I'm Peter Cowan. A highway crash that left a young woman in a wheelchair, partially paralyzed and unable to walk, ended in a St. John's courtroom today, with the driver sentenced to prison. The crash happened in 2017 on Pitts Memorial Drive during a vicious argument. The passenger in his car, his former girlfriend, suffered a spinal injury, a broken pelvis, and a broken collarbone. Here Now's Mark Quinn reports.
An emotional day for 24-year-old Morgan Party and her ex-boyfriend Joshua Steele Young.
Really appreciate all of them and everybody's support. It's meant a lot to me.
Judge Francis Knickel said Steele Young intentionally drove recklessly at more than 130 kilometers per hour in a snowstorm, and she questioned if he's taken responsibility for what he did. Knickel said his actions deserve a severe sanction, but she also said she didn't want to crush his chance of rehabilitation. He was given a 2-year sentence and is prohibited from driving for years after his release. For Morgan Party, there was some relief.
I thought it was going to be a little bit disappointing, but it's definitely not. It's a little bit overwhelming at the moment.
Knickel accepted that Steele Young is remorseful and that he didn't wish to harm Party, but Party is still rejecting the apology he gave in court.
I don't accept his apology. It's something that I don't think I'll ever be able to accept along with this, but I do believe he never intentionally tried to make me paralyzed.
Today, Party says she won't miss coming to court, and she's focusing on the future.
Be myself again, hanging out with my friends like I wanted to. It's going to be different, and it's going to be okay. I'm going to be okay.
Mark Quinn, CBC News, St. John's.
Thank you very much.
Well, it's the Sisters in Spirit Vigil tonight in St. John's, and that's where Here Now's Katie Breen is with us live tonight. Katie?
That's right, tonight a vigil for the missing and murdered women of Newfoundland and Labrador. We'll get an update on the most recent case and remember her and the others taken before her.
Another cool start to the day today. Take a look at some of these temperatures as you walked out the door. 3 degrees for St. John's, -2 for Badger. Those temperatures in the minus up through Happy Valley, Goose Bay, as well as Lab City. Temperatures did recover slightly this afternoon, though, somewhere between 8 and 9 degrees for most areas to the south, and then up along the northeast coast, those temperatures sitting around 7 degrees. Now, we are in for a cool down as we head through the day tomorrow. Might even see some snow for some areas. But the good news is there is a warm-up as we head into the beginning of next week. I'll have all the details coming up.
These are just some of the pictures we've been bringing you from the South Coast this week, where a major cleanup effort is underway in Fortune Bay. Crews are working to collect the remains of hundreds of thousands of dead farmed salmon. Earlier this week, company spokesperson Jason Card told us this pink substance was pigment and that the fatty substance on the water and coastline was harmless and would biodegrade. Well, that explanation is not sitting well with a Memorial University biologist, Ian Jones. Here Now's Chris O'Neill-Yates was on the South Coast this week digging into the story, and she's live with us tonight from the newsroom. Chris, what did Jones have to say about this?
Well, Ian Jones, who we know as a bird biologist at Memorial University, basically wants proof that all of this stuff going into the water on the South Coast is benign. He studies birds. He says a drop of oil, a drop of anything in this mixture getting onto the birds could cause a problem with them. We have a lot of inshore seabirds, everything from cormorants to ducks to grebes, all kinds of birds out there. He's worried about that, but he's also worried about what he calls a smothering effect, where all of this stuff along the coastline that we see will smother the organisms and cause environmental problems. So he heard the comments of Jason Card a couple of nights ago, and he says he needs more proof that this substance will not cause any kind of environmental effects.
I react to these kinds of comments with complete disbelief as a biologist who knows a little bit about these kinds of things. First of all, referring to a slurry of decomposing salmon remains as a pigment is a bit of a stretch of the imagination. So this is a slurry of partly decomposed material that includes lipids, fats, tissue remains, and then of course any ingredients like pesticides or drugs that have been put into these fish when they're in the pen. That's what this pink material that's being discharged over the side of the vessel is. So to call it just completely harmless is beyond belief.
So Chris, what does Jones think people need to know about this?
Well, he wants to know whether anybody is out there actually looking at what's going on. And by anybody, the agencies that are responsible for enforcing a suite of legislation. Everything from the Migratory Bird Convention Act to the Fisheries Act to the Environmental Protection Act. And these are enforced by our federal government. He wants to know how the claims can be made that this is harmless and benign. And he thinks the public has a right to know all this.
Interpreting things from what information we have, this looks like the largest and possibly most damaging water pollution event in the history of Newfoundland and Labrador.
Why do you say that?
Because of the volume of fish. We're talking about millions of dead fish that are close to marketable size.
If we know if it happens to be millions, even if it's less?
Well, this is another question. This is livestock in pens. This occurred weeks ago. Why don't we actually know how many fish are involved? It'd be a lot easier to interpret the scale of the damage if we actually knew any information. And certainly as a scientist and any member of the public, I think deserves to be told.
And after seeing what we saw on the South Coast this week, we didn't see any monitoring going on by department officials. That doesn't mean it wasn't happening, though. So I've been contacting the Department of Fisheries and Oceans and the Department of Environment and Climate Change Canada to try to find out what they're doing and if it's been monitored and if the effects are as benign as the company says it is. I haven't heard back from either of them yet.
Thanks, Chris. That's Here and Now's Chris O'Neill-Yates with us live tonight. Now, that aquaculture farm on the South Coast is owned by Northern Harvest Sea Farms.
Our fish have room to swim. They cluster where they feel comfortable, just like in the wild.
While this is from the company's promotional video, Northern Harvest is an Atlantic Canadian-based company founded in 1985. It owns farms here and in New Brunswick, but it's part of a much larger company. Maui bought Northern Harvest in 2017. Maui is one of the world's largest aquaculture companies. It also bought Gray Aquaculture to form the rebranded Maui Canada East operation. Now, Maui is a global aquaculture operation and it has more than 14,000 employees. It has operations in 25 countries and brings in about 5.5 billion Canadian dollars a year in revenue.
The NDP candidate on the South Coast is heading to Harbour Breton to talk about aquaculture. The NDP says we should move to a land-based system, but maybe it's going to take a long time to get there. That story coming up.
Well, in other news now, some of the people who've been stuck on the ferry on the north coast of Labrador for days are finally getting a ride out, but it's not on a boat. The Comatic W has been stopped in Rigolette due to weather since Monday. The Department of Transportation and Works will be arranging flights for 19 stranded passengers. The capabilities of the vessel, new to Labrador this year, have come under fire in recent days. Nunatsiavut officials were in St. John's yesterday evening to meet with the Transportation and Works Minister. The government maintains that all the freight destined to the North Coast this season will make it in time. But Nunatsiavut First Minister Kate Mitchell said she isn't optimistic. Now, doctors are trained to take care of us, but who's taking care of them? 300 doctors and medical students from all over Canada are meeting in St. John's to discuss ways to decrease burnout. Here Now's Meg Roberts has more.
It feels like a tease, a room full of doctors in a province where only 1 in 5 people have a family physician. Doctors are attending a conference on burnout. With the current doctor shortage, medical professionals say it's an issue physicians in the province are facing.
So much of our work these days is involved with dealing with an institution and a healthcare system that's under huge stress. That trickles down to pressures on our shoulders and to really difficult conversations. And we don't have control over these things.
Dr. Stephen Major, a family doctor in St. John's, led a yoga class at the conference. 7 years ago, he experienced burnout and began meditating as a way to improve his well-being. He says every day his office is flooded with calls from desperate people trying to find a family doctor.
We're just really overwhelmed with the workload that we already have, and then this new shortage that's really hitting home is making it even more difficult to do your job.
And he doesn't think that's going to get better anytime soon. He's nervous about what will happen to the well-being of both doctors and patients as the population ages. He wants to see some improvement in the current medical system.
We need to spend money to actually change the system, and the government, I understand, is in a fiscally demanding situation, but what we're spending the money on is on the acuity and catching up for all the things we're missing, and we need to spend some money on the front end of the system to change our system.
According to a study by the Canadian Medical Association, 1 in 4 doctors reported issues with burnout. The key driver was a lack of resources. Meg Roberts, CBC News, St. John's.
Hi, my name is Christian. I live in Blorum. You're watching CBC.
Thanks you so much, Christian. And Ashley's here with the weather now. Looks like the winds have died down a bit. Now all we need is the temperatures to get a little warmer, and we might have a nice fall weekend.
Maybe. No, it does look like we're headed that way, certainly. Yeah, this afternoon wind's quite strong, at least outside the metro area. Went for a walk, got almost blown away. But if we look at the current winds, they have died down and are going to continue to do so as we head through the night tonight. About 20 km/h sustained winds right now. So it's helping those temperatures not feel too bad, even though they're sitting around 7 degrees for St. John's, 6 in Happy Valley, Goose Bay, and Lab City right now sitting at 2 degrees. Now, here's what we're seeing right now. We did see all that cloud cover move in this afternoon for most of the island, even a few showers in play. And if I zoom out, you can see that we are headed into, or will be headed into, a more northwesterly flow. And we can thank a stronger low just off the coast of Greenland for that. So that's locking us into this northwest pattern. And as we do that, those temperatures are actually going to drop, certainly into tomorrow. We're looking at another cold night tonight, -2 for Grand Falls, Windsor. 1 degree should be the overnight low for St. John's, and those winds, like I said, will continue to drop. So should see light winds overnight tonight. Along the west coast, though, 20 to 30 km/h after midnight tonight. Out of the north-northwest, Port aux Basques looking at 5 degrees. And you can see I have that chance of snow, or at least some flurries, certainly in the higher elevations for some of these areas. Just a slight chance of showers. A low that skirts to the south, though, might bring some showers to the Burin Peninsula as well as the southern Avalon as we head through the night tonight. Up through Labrador, you're looking at the potential for some showers over the next few hours, I'd say, for Happy Valley, Goose Bay. Then things should clear out. Otherwise, flurry potential for Lab West, and then along the coast as well. So Cartwright sitting around 2 degrees. Those winds out of the northwest, pretty breezy, around 30 to 50 km/h. Now, through the day tomorrow, we will start to see that northwesterly flow more dominant, which means the temperatures will likely be quite chilly tomorrow afternoon. And then that chance of some showers as well, with the risk of some flurries. I definitely have that in there, certainly towards the evening hours as those temperatures really start to drop. Most of Labrador will actually be quite nice by the time the afternoon rolls around. Your chance of showers will be, or flurries will be, in the morning. And then as we head into the night, some of that cloud cover will start to make its way back in, and that's the story through Sunday. So even though those winds are going to die down tonight, we are going to see them pick right back up tomorrow. Those strong northwesterlies, anywhere from, I'd say, 50 to 60 km/h. Exposed areas may see upwards of about 70 km/h, but otherwise the winds will die down again a little bit into Sunday, but still stay quite breezy through the day. So here's your temperatures. Again, cool. So 5 degrees for St. John's, northwesterlies gusting of about 60 km/h. Still have that chance of maybe a few flurries. Don't be surprised if you do see those. 4 degrees for Gander, a little warmer for Grand Falls, Windsor, near 7 degrees. Anywhere from 5 to 7 degrees along the west coast as well, up through the northern peninsula. Might see some sunshine, or will see some sunshine into the afternoon for most of Labrador once you get that chance of showers out of the way. And then 8 degrees for Happy Valley, Goose Bay. Lab City and Churchill Falls will likely stay pretty similar to that as well, with that chance of flurry. So cool day tomorrow. Sunday looks much better. I'll have all those details coming up.
Thanks, Ashley. Let's go now to Here and Now's Katie Breen, who's at that Sisters in Spirit vigil tonight. The ceremony honors the missing and murdered women and girls from this province. It's being held at the Cochrane Centre in St. John. So, Katie, what can you tell us about tonight?
Well, the ceremony is actually just getting underway now. Tonight there will be performances, speeches, and time for just general remembrance. In the past, this vigil has gone by a different name. It's been called In Her Name. And what would happen at that vigil would different family members and organizers would come up and they would give the names. They would read the names aloud of every woman taken from this province. Last year, there was 138 names on that list. This year, another 2 will be added on.
On August 15th, around 1 p.m., Operational Patrol Services did respond to a report of a person lying on the side of the road near Minerals Road and CBS. In response, and with ambulance department. That person was brought to the hospital for treatment. That person later passed away in hospital, a 36-year-old woman. At this time, the investigation is very active, and investigators are waiting on things like lab results and other pieces of information that do take some time.
What have you learned about the individual who passed?
At this time, I'm not able to discuss any personal details around that person. What I can say is that we are keeping in close communication with family members. You know, it's certainly important in line with a tragedy like this to keep a close line, open line of communication with family.
Have you come up with any kind of leads, any idea what could have happened that brought her to Minerals Road and CBS?
You know, we're certainly looking to seek any means to determine and piece together what happened that day in August. Certainly we reach out for any CCTV or dash camera footage. I think it's important to discuss that any small piece of information, whether it's in that area of Minerals Road or just outside, you know, any suspicious activity, but any small piece of information could lead us in the right direction and help us piece together what happened that day.
Have any suspects? Is there anyone kind of that you have in mind for this?
You know, at this time, this is a sudden death, and we're certainly looking to determine, you know, what happened that day so that we can piece together the story and try to determine how to conclude this file.
Is there anything else that you want to add?
Right now, we'd like to thank the public for any assistance that's been provided at this stage. And you know what, this investigation is very active, and as I mentioned, investigators are awaiting things like lab results and other things that do take some time, and you know, certain pieces of information that can you know, certainly piece together what happened that day.
A shot of the room now as the vigil continues, and we'll come back to the vigil later tonight. I'll speak with an organizer about the importance of holding this kind of event. Live from St. John.
Welcome back to Here and Now. I'm at Conn River. I'm informed that the company has tried to assure the people of Conn River, the Mi'kmaq, that everything's going to be okay. I'm joined now by the NDP candidate, Noel Joe. Welcome to Here and Now.
Hello, Anthony. How are you?
Excellent. I want to talk, what are your thoughts about this big salmon kill and cleanup?
Well, first, first when I saw the pictures in the last couple of days, my thoughts were with the community of Harbour Breton, the harvesters, and the fishery as well. So, yeah.
With respect to the NDP's policy on this, the Green Party has called for a transition to a land-based system. What are your thoughts on the fact that the federal Liberals now say BC should have this standard, moving to land-based, whereas Atlantic Canada, you can keep things as they are?
Well, I think that we need to look at all aspects of the industry. I think that a land-based food, open containment, land-based agriculture can work. It is good for the industry. I think. Given that the situation we have now, I think it would be great.
But here on the south coast, I guess, Mr. Joe, you risk not getting votes if you're going to push to that, because people are sort of standing behind the company saying, this open net is fine, this is just a big setback. Any political risk or concerns you have?
No, I think that if we use the precautionary principle here and we assist and look at all aspects and have all stakeholders at the table, I think that it would be great.
As far as the notion that British Columbia can basically have a policy that says we want you to move to land-based by 2025, but we leave open net, is it possible for a country to have two different policies on aquaculture?
I think what they're doing in British Columbia, I think speaks to British Columbia, and out there, I think here on the East Coast, I think we need to look at our ways to doing agriculture as it relates to us and as it relates to the East Coast in Newfoundland and Labrador.
So I just want to be clear, do you want it to move to land-based in this area or not?
I think that if we can phase it out and phase into over a time, I think that would be beneficial. We wouldn't have the situation what we have now that's going on in Harbour Breton. Again, keep in mind about the harvesters and the fishermen and all that.
Okay, so if I hear what you're saying, transition to land-based, but maybe it takes more time in this part of Canada than it will in BC.
Yes, I think if we, like I said, if we have all stakeholders at the table, reassess, do the environmental assessments, over time it can work.
All right, but you give credit to the company, right?
Yeah, they you look at the company and they're doing their due diligence and they're moving swiftly to clean it up and that. So I do give credit to the company as well. It is devastating that we have all those fish that is now gone and that, but they are doing their due diligence. They informed. Keeping everybody in the loop.
It's interesting because a lot of New Democrats usually give big multinational corporations a much harder time than you are.
Yeah, well, I think that if it is what it is, and we need to look at things more crucially, and I think that if we have a situation like this, everything has to come in play. And keeping the environment and protecting of our waters and our environment is.
Mr. Joe, thank you very much, and good luck with the rest of the election campaign.
Thank you very much, Anthony.
Well, speaking of that election campaign, the party leaders faced pointed questions today about citizenship, abortion, and Indigenous rights. Andrew Scheer was asked about his U.S. citizenship and why he didn't reveal it.
It's not a big deal in Canada for people to have dual citizenship. There are millions of Canadians.
Scheer tried to downplay the matter, calling it a non-issue, but he is in fact renouncing his U.S. citizenship. It came out today that he registered for the U.S. draft as required by law. Liberal leader Justin Trudeau also did some explaining, saying his views on abortion have evolved. Back in 2011, he was publicly pro-choice, but as a Catholic, personally opposed to abortion. but says he became uncomfortable holding those two positions. He emphasized that he is now pro-choice first and last, and that no one should tell a woman what she can do with her body. And on the NDP trail, the leader Jagmeet Singh had some harsh criticism of the federal government. It is challenging a ruling that calls for compensation for Indigenous kids harmed by on-reserve child welfare. This could cost Ottawa billions, and it is asking for a judicial review. Singh slammed the move, saying the NDP would not be fighting Indigenous children in court. South of the border now, U.S. President Donald Trump is demanding that House Speaker Nancy Pelosi take an official vote on its impeachment inquiry.
And then we'll get it to the Senate, and we're going to win. The Republicans have been very unified. This is the greatest witch hunt in the history of our country.
The White House is sending Pelosi a letter saying it won't cooperate with the probe until that vote is taken. Despite Trump's claim, it appears not all Republicans are unified. Senator Mitt Romney sent a tweet today calling Trump's actions, quote, wrong and appalling.
Believe that he never wanted this to happen, but I don't accept his apology.
She's in a wheelchair as a result of a highway crash. Now the man who was driving the vehicle, her former boyfriend, is going to prison. We'll hear more of her reaction coming up on Here and Now.
Welcome back to Here and Now. I'm Katie Breen, and I'm joined by Laura Winters, Executive Director of the St. John's Status of Women's Council, someone who helped organize this event today and someone who's come to these kinds of events year after year. Laura, why is it so important to keep having these vigils?
It's important because the issue of violence against women in our society has not gone away. It's important this year that we are doing Sisters in Spirit under the leadership of First Light, who's put a tremendous amount of work into this, along with many community partners. It's important this year because the report has been released on missing and murdered Indigenous women in this country. And we, as women who are non-Indigenous, need to show up as allies and support the work of Indigenous women, such as in the development of the Sisters in Spirit event. Across the country, Sisters in Spirit honors Indigenous women who are murdered and missing, and I think what's beautiful in this city is that First Light has opened up the space for non-Indigenous women as well. So this is honoring all nations of women who are murdered and missing in the province. So it's important to keep these issues in the minds of folks. We see it day in, day out at the Women's Centre. We deal with violence against women. We're there to support, to listen. But I think for the general public, this issue comes up when there's events like this. So that's why we engage with this.
What do you think needs to be done to end the violence? Because like you said, it keeps happening.
I think we need concrete action from our governments. I think we need more than what's happened historically in the past. We're in an election. Why hasn't the issue of violence against women been one of the forefront issues of this election across Canada right now? When you look at the rates of violence, when you look at the recommendations in the report on murdered and missing Indigenous women, you know, it's almost mind-blowing in a way that is not a major election issue. So I think we need concrete action from government, concrete plans at all levels of government, and we need collaboration between those on the ground doing the work, families who have lost loved ones, and people in positions of power.
And you're going to be giving some remarks a little later on tonight. What are you hoping people take away from what you have to say?
I'm hoping that they take away, one, what an honor and a privilege it's been as the Status of Women Council to be invited to the table to work with Indigenous sisters. I hope that they take away the fact that we as a centre are there to support and listen around this issue, and that we'll continue to fight, and we will continue to push, and we will continue to work to create better conditions for women across society, but specifically around this issue of violence. And I hope that they take away that this event is about honoring murdered and missing women. It's about celebrating their lives and really making this about the women that have been stolen from us.
And their families are some of course, the most affected. What do you think that tonight will do for them?
I hope it will be a source of support by seeing all of the many people who come out and show up for this event. I hope they will know that we're holding space for them, that we're here for them. There's been actually a week of events leading up to tonight, so I hope that they came and availed of some of the support spaces that were created. And I hope that they know that we as the Status of Women Council and Women's Centre are dedicated to this work, as well as First Light. I mean, First Light does phenomenal work around this all year long. And I think also this is a space of community building. So that's the other thing I hope people take away from this, looking at how Indigenous communities and non-Indigenous communities can come together to work around these issues.
So I've stepped just outside the lobby now of the vigil. People inside the pews are just filled. People remembering their loved ones and just general community support. There are actually support workers walking around in case tonight becomes too overwhelming.
Thank you, Katie. That's Here and Now's Katie Breen with us live tonight in St. John's. Well, returning now to our top story, Joshua Steele-Young is in jail tonight, starting a 2-year sentence for dangerous driving causing bodily harm. Steele-Young was speeding a year and a half ago when the vehicle crashed and rolled over on Pitts Memorial Drive in St. John's. The passenger ended up partially paralyzed. After sentencing today, that passenger, Morgan Party, spoke with reporters.
How do you feel about the verdict today?
It's definitely shocking. I thought it was going to be a little bit disappointing, but it's definitely not. It's a little bit overwhelming at the moment, so I'm not really sure in how to think or what to say, really.
What was your fear coming into today?
Pretty much just it not being this overwhelming. Like, it's not, I thought he was going to be getting less, and I was afraid that he was going to drive a vehicle right after, even if it was a year. I just didn't want him to be behind the wheel right away. That's the main thing.
Sorry. Do you accept that his remorse? And the judge said that he feels sorry for this?
I believe that he never wanted this to happen, but I don't accept his apology. It's something that I don't think I'll ever be able to accept along with this, but I do believe he never intentionally tried to make me paralyzed.
You read a lot in your victim impact statement about how this has changed your life.
Yeah.
How has it changed your life?
It's been pretty dramatic, and it's hard to explain. A lot of it was in my statement, but it was just a life. Once I woke up from ICU, I was, like I said, in denial. Like I felt like I was gonna walk in a week, or I'm gonna walk right out, but it didn't happen. And then I thought it was gonna be maybe next month or next month. So I'm still a little bit in denial about that, but I'm getting better. I'm trying, and as long as I'm getting up every day, that's the main thing.
You've got a lot of support around you as well, obviously.
Yeah, I do though. I have a lot of support from my family and my friends, and even strangers, just random people coming up to me and telling me that they know who I am, and it's amazing that I'm out and about to see me out, and they really appreciate it, and I really appreciate all them and everybody's support. It's meant a lot to me.
Does today's sentence help at all? You talk about your life's been changed. Does this help at all?
Right now, it's kind of overwhelming. It's not helping at this second, but it's definitely going to change a lot of my attitude towards things, towards getting up, towards going out in public more, and being myself again, hanging out with my friends like I wanted to. It's gonna be different, and it's gonna be okay. I'm gonna be okay.
New exhibition honoring this province's Beothuk history is opening up this weekend at the Kitty Vitty Village Plantation. Coming up on Here and Now, we'll speak with the artist who created these beautiful bronze sculptures.
Welcome back to Here and Now. A new two-day exhibition honoring the Beothuk people is opening tomorrow at the Plantation in Kitty Vitty Village. Artists Morgan MacDonald and Sheila Koltas used bronze sculptures and red ochre paintings to capture the history and the tragedy of Beothuk life. Here Now's Carolyn Stokes has this first look.
It's a very complex subject matter, but it's very important to the heritage of the province. And anybody that's familiar with my work, they'll know that it's based on Newfoundland history and our stories and Newfoundland narrative and that type of work. And I just through the years, I don't think I felt comfortable not touching on this subject matter because it's such an iconic piece of our history. It's such an important part of our history. Many people will say that it's a tragic part of our history, and I felt it was important to acknowledge that and to at least do something based on that. And so I think just it organically came together, and so I was creating some pieces, and Sheila has her own style of work that she wanted to do some work dedicated to this subject matter. So I thought it naturally came together.
What I chose to do was paint on birch bark with red ochre that I collected from Ochre Pit Cove. I used charcoal, I used talc, I used the oxidization from a mineral called virginite. I also used crushed up ceramic. Whatever I could get my hands on that was a little bit different.
Because red ochre has a huge significance in the Beothuk culture. Can you talk about that?
Absolutely. It had esoteric as well as practical purposes. It's an insect repellent, but it was also a connection to the spirit world for the Beothuk, right? They used it in burials and I believe in some parts of the birth of infants and that kind of thing. It was very much a connection to the earth as well as their spiritual ideals.
This is a direct inspiration on a quote from Shannon Dithit about that spiritual belief of what happens to us when we pass on. So the idea is that they travel to I believe the quote is to the good place or the good island, which is their sense of the afterlife, where you could fish and feast and you're in the company of your loved ones. So this is the idea of the great journey to the beyond. So this has been our own initiative. We've basically taken this on ourselves personally to do this. So this is not a commission work particularly from any particular person or agency. So I think it was just very important as Newfoundlanders to address this subject matter in a respectful manner and to try to highlight some of the history and at least get some dialogue and awareness around the history about this.
Now, those sculptures are going to be on this weekend, and also lots of people this weekend are going to want to check out the fall colors. I was out driving in central Newfoundland this week and noticed just the first sort of hints. You got a few trees that are a bit red, but the poplars haven't really started turning quite yet.
Yeah, we are getting some lovely photos as well. We'll take a look at one sent in by Eugene Howell, enjoying the fall colors at Western Bay on the Avalon. And if you are planning on checking out these fall colors, you might want to wait at least until Sunday, because Saturday is looking a little cool as we lock into this northwesterly flow with the chance of showers, even the chance of some flurries through the day, especially along the northern portion or northeastern portion of the island. Otherwise, as we head into Sunday, things should actually start to clear out, and that's certainly good news as we start to see some warmer air move in. A big ridge of high pressure will move in, clearing skies through the day on Sunday. We're going to start to see some cloud cover, though, move in for the big land, so at least the first half of the day will be nice for you. And then eventually some of that cloud cover will make its way towards the island as well into the evening and overnight hours. And then the first part of Monday looking a little wet. But the good news is we will see these warmer temperatures. So here's what we're looking on Sunday. Those temperatures climbing quite nicely back to, it's still actually a little bit below seasonal. Should be sitting around 13 degrees, but still nicer than what we're going to see on Saturday for sure. 10 degrees for Happy Valley Goose Bay, same for Nain. And Lab City a little cooler, sitting around 7 degrees. But again, plenty of sunshine expected through the day. And over the next couple of days, we will hang on to that heat, certainly into the beginning of next week. Monday looking at 15 degrees with that chance of showers moving in towards the after or evening hours. And look at your overnight lows in the double digits. 16 degrees for Tuesday with some rain. And then Wednesday, we're looking at about 11 degrees through the day. Now for central Newfoundland, that chance of some showers or flurries through the day tomorrow. Sunday, again, sunshine, and then that rain moving in Monday and Tuesday with those temperatures still sitting in the teens though, and then 12 degrees on Wednesday and some sunshine. So for western Newfoundland, essentially the same forecast, that rain continuing Monday and Tuesday, your overnight lows dipping back down Tuesday night to the single digits. Wednesday looks like sunshine right now and a little bit on the fence now as of when we're going to start to see some of that cooler air move in. But as of now, have about 12 degrees as your afternoon high. For eastern Labrador, sunshine essentially for most of the week other than Monday. That's when we'll start to see some of that rain move in. 15 degrees, so you're staying well above seasonal for this time of year. Tuesday and Wednesday, sunshine with temperatures between 11 and 12 degrees. Now for western Labrador, 5 degrees tomorrow. That might even be a little bit high. And then as we head for the rest of the week, heading into the beginning of next week rather, we're looking at 9 and 7 degrees. Well, we want to know where you two are talking about these fall colors. It's also moose hunting season. Susan Smith Vincent sent us this photo. I'll tell you where this is too when we come back.
Time to look at some birthdays and anniversaries this week. 73rd wedding anniversary greetings going out to Merle and Madge Berkshire of Elliott's Cove, Random Island. Hubert and Grace Smith from Botwood celebrated their 55th wedding anniversary. Wishing Laura and Stuart Pye from Lodge Bay, Labrador a happy 54th wedding anniversary. Happy 50th wedding anniversary to Gordon and Sadie Parsons of Seal Cove, White Bay. Anniversary greetings also going out to Rex and Elsie Short of Roberts Arms, celebrating 54 years of love and marriage.
55th anniversary greetings to Ross and Viola Sacre of Mings Bight. It's also a 55th anniversary for Ward and Verna Pye, who will celebrate on the 30th. Happy 50th anniversary to Audrey and Charles Etzel of St. John's. And congratulations to Gordon and Gladys White from Catalina, who celebrated their 66th anniversary on Monday. Peter Keogh is celebrating his 94th birthday. He's originally from Plates Cove East, but currently living in Clarenville.
Lillian Tulk is 90 today. Happy birthday. Lillian's a longtime resident of Greenspond, now living in Victoria Cove, Gander Bay. Jim and Carol Harding from Buren Bay Arm will celebrate their 56th anniversary tomorrow. Happy 90th birthday to Cecilia Tracy of St. John's, pictured here with her great-granddaughter, Caroline Fury, who's also celebrating her first birthday. 91st birthday wishes to Douglas Ivany of Mount Pearl and Random Island. Happy 65th anniversary greetings going out to Harold and Golda May, who are celebrating their wedding anniversary tomorrow.
Birthday greetings going out to Mercedes Slaney of St. Lawrence. She's celebrating her 90th. Sending wishes to Master Boat Builder and Man of 1,000 Boats, Henry Vokey of Trinity. Henry will be 90 on Sunday. Happy 97th birthday to Josie Hillier. She lives in Greens Harbor, Trinity Bay. And Irene LaCour of St. John's will be celebrating her 90th birthday on Monday. Birthday greetings for Annie Griffin, who's 92. She's from Freshwater, Placentia Bay.
Happy 102nd birthday to Lloyd Seward, formerly of Bishop's Falls, now living in Grand Falls, Windsor. 50th anniversary greetings going out to Edgar and Gloria Skiffington from Musgrave Town. Dorcas Paddock is celebrating her 97th birthday in Springdale. Happy birthday wishes going out to Dennis Nash of Branch, who celebrated his 91st birthday on Sunday. Elsie Bradley is turning 92 this coming Sunday. Happy birthday, she's from Eastport.
Happy 90th birthday to Dawn Penny, formerly of Deer Harbor, Random Island, now living in Scarborough, Ontario. Eugenie Taylor is celebrating her 90th birthday. Birthday greetings to Ella Line Smith of Manuels and Coley's Point, now living in St. John. She turns 96 on Sunday. Birthday greetings for Sheila Bouzan. She lives in Grand Falls, Windsor, where she's celebrating her 90th birthday. Best wishes to Bob Barrett of Old Perlican, who's celebrating his 92nd birthday tomorrow.
Happy 62nd wedding anniversary to Rita and Edgar Savior of Lawrencetown. Happy anniversary to Garfield and Honor Hounsell of Wareham, who are celebrating 67 years of marriage. Doris and Naaman Moland of Mount Pearl are celebrating their 64th wedding anniversary. Happy 55th anniversary to Raymond and Judy Rowlands of John de Bay. Happy 50th anniversary to Harold and Sandra Hillier of Gander. Happy 53rd wedding anniversary to Howard and Karen Watts of Norris Point. And happy 50th anniversary today for Bax and Vi Vincent of St. John's.
What a great photo.
Yeah, that photo, maybe that's the secret to a long and, tie your husband up and...
50 years?
Anyway, they're at least still joking around
That's
after
right.
all those years together.
That's right.
So, the weather photo, we're seeing some of those beautiful fall colors.
Yeah.
I gotta say, I can't guess this one.
No, it's hard to tell, but yeah, it is moose hunting season. This was actually taken somewhere between Botwood and Point Leamington, out moose hunting in the morning with these cool fall days. And like I said, Susan Smith-Vincent sent us that photo. Thank you so much for sending that in. And these cooler temperatures are nice for moose hunting. Not so much with these warmer temperatures that are on the way, but yeah, if you have any weather photos you'd like to share with us, send them to nlphotos@cbc.ca.
It's always nice to take a break from hunting and enjoy, some of the nature and the surroundings and, those fall colors that while you're out there in the woods.
That's right. I think this might be my favorite time of year as far as colorful goes.
Oh yes, it's definitely colorful. The temperatures, though, not always.
I don't mind them. You can always dress for the weather.
Well, then you were in the right place if you
That's
don't
true.
mind cool temperatures.
I definitely do not.
Well, anyway, it'll be a great opportunity to get out this weekend, at least on Sunday, and try and see some of those colors. I'm hoping to go out for a hike, and I guess Saturday can go down to the plantation and check out those bronze sculptures. So.
Absolutely.
Well, thanks everyone for watching. Hope you get a chance to go out and enjoy at least part of the weekend, and the crew will be back with you on Monday.
Good night.